We live, of course, in a culture obsessed with youth, but thankfully that does not apply to the Broadway shows this season because many of the people who are packing them into the theater are stage veterans, to put it mildly, who seem to be reversing time while we watch from the audience. Our woman on Broadway tonight is NBC's Chris Jansing.
Good day.
It's been 55 years since James Earl Jones first set foot on a Broadway stage. And now, at 81, he is back.
Hell no.
Playing an energetic former president in The Best Man, alongside 86-year-old Angela Lansbury.
Very nicely put.
This play I look forward to every day.
Far beyond the typical retirement age, they aren't just working, they're thriving. Their star power bringing in audiences who watched Murder, She Wrote.
Well, surely she's not a suspect.
And Star Wars fans who still marvel at the voice behind Darth Vader.
I am your father.
Between them, they have 7 Tony Awards, and yet they are modest, open, and utterly charming.
She's 18, you know.
Yeah, he's 17, so between the two of us, you know, we hardly...
You could order a drink?
We could order a drink, yeah.
They are simply very happy and a bit amazed to still be working. And so is their friend Joel Grey.
There's nothing like the live audience.
Who still gets a thrill seeing his picture on a billboard.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome.
It's been 46 years since he won Best Actor awards for Cabaret, on stage and in film. And never imagined then he'd still be going strong at 80.
Eyes will still be swell.
First of all, I didn't know I was going to be 80.
Like the blue boy.
Doing 8 shows a week takes discipline, no parties, lots of sleep. And what about memorizing all those lines? Is it different than when you were 25 or 30?
It's like a windshield wiper came along and went swoosh. It's all gone.
Oh, it happens to all actors. It really does.
Even those occasional lapses are part of the mental challenge that keeps them feeling young. Will you always want to act?
Well, I always say, as providing I can put one foot in front of the other, I will continue to act.
As long as I have the oxygen in my brains.
And where that passion will take them next is, happily for their fans,
Tell me your name.
a story that's still being written. Chris Jansing, NBC News, New York. Why do you still do it? What is it that gets you to the theater 8 times a week?
Everybody likes to tell a good story, and I can't do that in real life. I have to wait for a playwright to come along and make up a story for me to tell.
So it's still fun for you?
Oh yeah, it's also essential.
My friends who are in their 50s and 60s now, many of them are thinking about retiring.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
50s and 60s, really?
If someone had said to you when you're 20, you'll still be doing this at 80, what would you have thought?
I never looked that far ahead, to be perfectly honest with you. I really didn't. And I can't quite believe that I am as old as I am because I just don't feel it. I really, really don't.
Do you think still working is part of that?
Yes, I do. I think working has a great deal to do with it. I always say it's the one thing I know how to do, you know.
And very well, so that's a good thing.
Yes, my kids laugh at me because I say I know how to keep house and I know how to act. And I get tired of vacuuming, so I go back to the theater.
If you have one great movie or you have one great series, if you have a Murder, She Wrote, if you're lucky you have that, you get that one great thing. To what do you attribute your longevity?
No, I'm still looking for the great movie. I've done a few that I like, that I cherish.
But none that you think is great?
What?
None you think is great?
None I would say that's my legacy. No, I've done some big splash movies, but none that I can say. When I watch Henry Fonda movies, I see the grapes of wrath. I don't know how you felt about that, but for me, that was his legacy movie. I don't feel I've had one of those. Cry the Beloved Country, perhaps, close. But I'm still waiting for it, and I'm ready to do it. You got to be much older than usual, but I'm ready to do it.
Why do you think people still give you parts?
I don't know.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because he's a hell of a good, effective, marvelous actor.
I think
that's as simple as that. And to be those things, he is a great human being as well. So
well, maybe they
put
get
it all
to me
together
before I fall down.
Why do you think you're still getting parts after all these years?
I don't know. I can't really answer that. I don't go out seeking them. No.
People
don't.
still come to you.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
not a bad thing.
No, it's a very, listen, it's very comforting indeed. I never take it for granted, you know.
Do you still get a thrill from those standing ovations? And because the audience yesterday was very much into it. They were laughing and they were shocked and they were upset when the president died. And
yes.
It felt like a good audience to me. Does it still give you a thrill?
Of course it does. We acknowledge in every way we can how grateful we are for their reaction, you know, because that's what we're going out to get, is a good reaction from the audience. And when we get it during the show, when they laugh at our jokes, and when they applaud us at the end, that is the nicest thing that we can have. That's the best feedback that we can have.
Their presence is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And their attention, that encourages our concentration. We have to concentrate very hard to make sure we get their attention. You know? And that's all I want. I don't think about them applauding at the end, because then the end is over. I don't have anything more to do but listen to them.
So you've been acting professionally for 71 years.
Yes, how kind of you to notice that.
Are you crazy?
No, I just love it. And it's been my dream, always.
Could you have imagined early on in your career, maybe not at 9, but early on, even doing cabaret and all the acclaim you got for that, the Tony, the Academy Award, that you would still be doing this at 80?
No, never. I never expected. First of all, I didn't know I was going to be 80.
Thank God.
Let's say that. I mean, who's 80? And what's 80? It's all this, it's very surreal.
Well, apparently, if you're Joel Grey, 80 ain't bad.
80's good. I'm the busiest I think I've ever been.
Really?
Yeah.
And Variety said of this performance, I think it's the happiest performance on Broadway.
Well, I do love this show. It's so much fun, and I get to be really outrageous and silly and funny and sing some great songs.
Ring my bell.
You got a book coming out?
I have my 4th photography book that I'm very excited about. That will probably be out in the fall. And I'm going to start a memoir later this summer.
In your spare time?
Well, I'm taking 6 weeks off to try to write. And then I'm doing a master class in musical theater at the Alfred Lynn Fontanne home in Wisconsin.
Sounds like retirement is not in your vocabulary.
I don't even know what the word is. Since I didn't know what 80 was, how do I know what retirement is?